Hey, what's happening? Silas back with book review number 10. This is a book written by Jeb Blount called People Follow You. Jeb Blount is in the sales space, and he's talking about the real secret to what matters most in leadership. This book is a pretty straightforward book. A lot of elements of the book are things you may have heard before, but for whatever reason, some of the things that he mentioned in this particular book caught my attention in a different way. He talks about the 5 levels of leadership: putting people first, connecting, position people to win, building trust, and then creating positive and emotional experiences. One of the things that I found interesting about the book is that he lays out the principles in a way where they're pretty straightforward, but he also gives some real examples of things that have happened in his career. And he got some real examples that I think people can relate to. He talks also about leadership principles, and I'll read off a couple of them. There's 7 to be exact. The first one is you need your people more than they need you, which is something that we often need to be reminded of when we get into leadership. Follow the golden rule, which is treat others the way you want to be treated. Again, these first 2 principles are pretty straightforward. The third one is you're always on stage. I found this one to be very, very impactful for me, and it caused me to think immediately, how can I improve on being sure that I'm always showing up in every environment in a way where my behavior is in line with what I would want people to see. And so he talks a bit about coming into office settings and, having an attitude because of something that happened at home and not letting those things bleed into the work environment. Again, things that we've heard before, but I think the way he puts this story together is really important, in the way that the principles run off next to each other. There's really a lot of connecting knowledge. The fourth thing is that people don't do dumb things on purpose. Most of us in leadership, we want excellence, and people working around us may not have the same vision that we have, or the same sort of connection to the vision, right? But when they do things that you think are dumb, it's not on purpose most of the time. The fifth thing is that people do things for their reasons, not yours. And so you may have a reason why you want them to do something, but it's important to build a relationship with them and connect to what their interests are, to be able to get them to be motivated to do the work for their own reasons. The sixth one is you change behaviors, not beliefs or styles. So people show up differently than you do with respect to how they do things or what their beliefs are. But the most important thing is that the behavior has a certain standard that we can all adhere to. And the last thing is that you're not normal. The way that you want to be managed, or the way that you manage, may not be the way that other people want to be managed or that they manage. And so it's important to build relationships with people on an individual basis and make that connection with people. This book is really about what your leadership legacy is going to be. He shares a lot of stories from the last 25 to 30 years in his own life. Again, a very straightforward book. But I think the most important thing is that it's a good reminder for those that are in leadership that you've got to have a principled approach to the work that you do. For a lot of people, they get thrusted into leadership and they get a title, a salary raise, and a bigger office. But the investment that you make in other people is going to determine the sustainability of your leadership long term. And so, again, People Follow You by Jeb Blount, a book that I read most recently, book number 10. I'm now on book 11, looking forward to doing that review pretty shortly. But until then, like the page, subscribe. If you've read the book or you think the book could be interesting for you, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Until then, take care.